Hello everyone, welcome to another lecture of general medicine where I make a boring topic easy to learn under 15 minutes. And for that, I shall be referring to the book on mind maps for general medicine by MediStudy Go. This book contains every topic in pictorial format onto which you can mark and jot down the points I'm going to teach you in this video right now. You can create a playlist for all the videos for general medicine, go through them within 2 to 3 days, and then go to solve the questions available on the app by MediStudy Go. You can solve them in the form of flashcards as well as MCQs and get this book for yourself on any e-commerce platform like Amazon, Flipkart, even Dentalcart and the website by MediStudy Go. Let's get into the topic for today, which is congestive cardiac failure. Starting with the first and the foremost heading and the category for congestive cardiac failure is introduction or definition. So congestive cardiac failure is a clinical syndrome in which the heart is unable to pump adequate amount of blood to meet the metabolic demands of the body. So the heart pumping is not happening or it is decreased, which leads to a decrease in the cardiac output of the blood and leads to failure and decreased circulation. It is common end-stage disease for many chronic heart diseases and is the most common reason for hospitalization for adults for more than 65 years of age. So mostly if any disease is happening in the heart, the end stage which can happen for that disease is CCF. The heart can stop pumping, cardiac output will go down, the blood will not reach the main organs and the patient is going to die. What are the common causes for CCF? So first and the foremost is ischemic heart disease, wherein there is some blockage in the arteries of the heart itself and the blood cannot be pumped. The most common causes are IHD and cardiomyopathy, wherein the heart muscle is deranged. Myocarditis, valvular heart disease, hypertensive heart disease, congenital heart disease, and constrictive pericarditis are other cardiovascular disorders which can lead to the occurrence of CCF. Let me explain you the basic flow of blood from lungs to heart and vice versa. If these are the lungs and this is the heart contains two sides, left and right. Now the blood goes from the lungs to the left ventricle and from the right ventricle to the lungs. So this is how the cycle works. Now if the blockage occurs over here, when the blood is coming from the lungs to the left ventricle, this is going to lead to left side of congestive cardiac failure. And if the blockage occur here, when the blood is going from right ventricle to the lungs, this is going to lead to right-sided congestive cardiac failure. So this leads us to the types of CCF, which is left-sided and right-sided according to the side which is involved. Other types which include are acute and chronic on the basis of onset of disease. So acute CCF occurs suddenly, mainly after diseases like massive myocardial infarction and infective endocarditis, whereas chronic develops gradually after diseases which are slow progressing like valvular heart disease and cardiomyopathy. It can be of two types, compensated and decompensated. Compensated is wherein the blood is getting reached to the organs somehow, and in decompensated it is not reaching. On the basis of the output by the heart, it can be high output and low output. High output is failure to maintain sufficient circulation despite an increased cardiac output. So the cardiac output has been increased by the heart in the case of compensation, but still it is not being able to reach the circulation of the body. So that is a high output CCF. It's caused by hyperthyroidism, anemia, and pregnancy. Whereas low output is when the actually cardiac output is low and therefore the circulation is not enough. This is caused by ischemic heart disease and hypertension. And as I said before, on the basis of the site where the blockage is occurring, it can be of left and right type. Left type can be systolic and diastolic in nature and occurs because the blood is getting collected in the lungs and not reaching the left ventricle. So systolic is abnormal ventricular contractions are happening, example in case of coronary artery disease and hypertension. Whereas for diastolic, there is impaired ventricular relaxation due to which the ventricles are not able to collect all of the blood which they should. This happens in cases of constrictive pericarditis and restrictive cardiomyopathy, wherein the terms themselves suggest that the ventricles are not able to relax as they should, because ventricular filling is going to be succeeded by ventricular contraction. If filling is not adequate, the contraction will not happen and the cardiac output is going to decrease. Lastly, there can be biventricular where both the sides get involved. On the basis of direction, it can be forward direction and backward direction. In the forward direction, the heart itself is not functioning and cardiac output is low. And in the backward direction, the heart is functioning fine, but still the cardiac output is low because the blood is not able to flow forward. So forward leads to inadequate cardiac output, and backward is due to salt and water retention, example, which causes venous congestion, and the veins are not able to carry the blood as they should. After the types of CCF, we need to know the pathophysiology by which this disease is progressing and leading to deranged cardiovascular functioning. So the etiological factors lead to decreased cardiac output, which leads to compensatory mechanisms being activated. The compensatory mechanisms can be in three ways. First is sympathetic nervous system being activated, or there can be RAAS activation and cardiac compensation by the heart itself. If sympathetic nervous system gets activated, it leads to vasoconstriction in the body so that the blood vessels, they are constricted and the pressure is increased by which the blood is flowing. This leads to an increased BP and cardiac workload is being increased. But this leads to stress on the myocardium and finally leads to CCF. Secondly, if the cardiac output is decreased, the RAAS activation happens in the kidney. The sodium and water are being retained by the kidney because they get stimulated that there is not enough blood in the body. So stop filtering things out. So they're going to retain the sodium and water inside the body, which leads to an increased intravascular volume. This increased volume is again going to put a stress on the myocardium because the heart is going to think that I have to pump so much more fluid now. And this will in turn lead to CCF. Lastly, when the heart itself is trying to compensate for its lost function, there is going to be tachycardia and increased myocardial contractility, which is going to increase the cardiac workload and leads to compensatory hypertrophy and dilatation of the ventricles, thereby leading to CCF. So this is how the pathophysiology flows for congestive cardiac failure. Now, once we know how the disease is progressing, we need to know what the disease looks like. So what are the clinical features? First and foremost, there is going to be cyanosis because less blood with oxygen is going to be delivered. There's going to be confusion and fatigue because again, the blood is not going to be delivered adequately to the brain. There's going to be paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea because the lungs are not going to function fine. Circulation and breathing is not happening fine and the patient is going to feel difficulty in breathing. Sudden severe shortness of breath, waking up a person from sleep is going to be there. Increased pulmonary capillary wedge pressure because the lungs are trying to work more and they're going to try to deliver more oxygen into the blood as much as it is coming. But that's not going to be enough because the blood itself is not being pumped correctly. There's going to be pulmonary edema, fluid collection in the lung cavity, sputum, tachypnea, which is increased breathing rate, cough because the patient is going to try hard to breathe, and crackles because if edema has occurred and fluid is present in the lung cavity, any air which is going to be inspired is going to produce crepitation or crackling sound in the lungs. Other than this, there is going to be exertional dyspnea. The patient is going to feel breathlessness even after slightest of exertion, tachycardia, which is increased heart rate. Then there's going to be orthopnea, where the patient cannot lie down comfortably because he's going to experience breathlessness when he's lying down. Other than this, there is going to be blood-stained sputum in some cases wherein the lungs are also getting affected and some of the other deranged structure is getting formed by which there is blood in the sputum also. So these are the clinical features for CCF. And after that, what we need to know is the types or the right and the left side of heart failure according to which circulation is getting affected, as I told you in the starting of the video. So as we said that left-sided failure is when the blood is not coming adequately from lungs to the heart. So there is some problem in this circulation midway. This is going to decrease the blood coming to the heart and increase the blood present in the lungs. So it's leading to blood backing up in the lungs and less blood present in the left side of the heart. And left side pumps the blood to the systemic circulation via the aorta. So obviously the blood is going to decrease in the aorta. So less pumping of the blood to aorta, that is the systemic circulation. Blood backs up into the lungs, which leads to pulmonary congestion and the presence of fluid in the lungs. This leads to backward failure because from the lungs to the heart, the problem is happening. So this is a backward situation. Symptoms include dyspnea, orthopnea, which is paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea, cough with pink frothy sputum, and crepitations, which is called as basal rales when the patient breathes, because lung contains fluid. Anytime the patient is going to inspire air, that air is trying to tear apart the fluid and is going to produce the sounds of crepitation. Compared to this, the right-sided heart failure is when the blood is not going from the right ventricle into the lung. This blockage is happening over here. So less pumping of blood to pulmonary artery and the lungs, which leads to blood backing up in the systemic veins. Here, IVC and SVC was bringing the blood. So if blood is more in the heart, which is eventually going to lead to backing up of fluid in SVC and IVC. So this is going to lead to peripheral edema, enlarged liver and ascites, and symptoms like pedal edema, which is ankle swelling, hepatomegaly, which is tender liver, and raised jugular venous pressure, because the pressure in the veins is going to increase because of an increased quantity of the fluid which is present in these veins. So this is how you can differentiate left-sided heart failure from right-sided heart failure. After we know all of this, we need to know how to investigate and come to a confirmatory diagnosis for this disease. For that, we come to the investigations. So first and foremost is blood test. It is going to show a hemoglobin quantity which can be decreased, blood urea increased, and electrolytes also increased. Chest X-ray will show cardiomegaly because the heart is trying to function more, and pulmonary congestion with the presence of air and fluid level there. Echocardiography will also show the cause and the type of heart failure, whether it is left or right side, and the presence of valvular abnormalities can also be seen. Other than this, we do brain natriuretic peptide, which is BNP. It is for high sensitivity and specificity for the diagnosis and prognosis of this disease, because if this is present, it means the functioning of the heart and the cardiovascular system is not normal. Once we have come to a confirmatory diagnosis for CCF, we come to the treatment. First and the foremost thing to learn about the treatment is what are we trying to achieve? What are the goals? Which is correction of the underlying cause, removal of the precipitating factors, and control of the heart failure to prevent it from progression. General treatment protocols which we need to follow is cessation of smoking, control any presence of hypertension and diabetes, good nutrition, weight control, reduce salt intake so that the fluid lodging in the body is decreased, and exercise slightly. Other than this, the medical treatment which we need to give in the form of drugs includes diuretics so that the fluid movement can be started. We reduce the plasma volume by giving loop diuretics, thiazides, or potassium sparing diuretics, example furosemide, hydrochlorothiazide, and spironolactone respectively. For vasodilators, we give because there is vasoconstriction due to sympathetic activation. So we give ACE inhibitors like captopril, angiotensin receptor blockers like losartans, nitrates, recombinant BNP, which is for the brain natriuretic peptide, which is nesiritide, sodium nitroprusside, and nestiride. These are all vasodilators because the blood vessels which were constricted by the activated sympathetic system need to be dilated so the blood can flow in a gushing manner and reach the peripheral organs also. Other than this, we give inotropic agents which maintain the electrolytic balance in the body and prevent any retention or excessive overload in the heart. For that, we give digitalis, dopamine or donbutamine, and phosphodiesterase inhibitors like milrinone. Other than that, to decrease the overload on heart, any heart disease requires the provision of beta blockers, wherein metoprolol or carvedilol can be given. Other than this, any heart disease can also be combined by arrhythmias, which is excess tachycardia and coagulation derangement, wherein excess platelet aggregation lead to the formation of clots. So to avoid that in any heart disease, we usually combine anticoagulation therapy and antiarrhythmic therapy along with the other drugs. Although this is not directly related to CCF, but it is somehow going to decrease the further progression of the disease into something else. Once we have given the drugs, lastly, we can use pacing device and cardiac transplantation in severe cases, wherein a circulatory support is provided by intra-aortic balloon pump, whereas a balloon pump is initiated and inculcated into the vessels which have been blocked for whatever reason. And lastly, if nothing is working and the case has become refractory to whatever treatment you are providing, you need to undergo cardiac transplantation. So according to the features and the pathophysiology and the symptoms which we have studied, what are the complications of CCF? It can lead to heart failure. It can lead to arrhythmias, pulmonary edema, because lungs can get involved. So this is how you can compile a topic under the given headings and then move on to solving some questions so that you can actually implement all that you have studied. For solving questions, you can use two types of questions. One is flashcards and other are MCQs. Now, where to get these flashcards and MCQs from? For that, you can log on to the app by MediStudy Go, which is available for iOS as well as Android users. So what is orthopnea? Orthopnea is when a patient cannot lie down without breathing. Fine. So shortness of breath that occurs when lying flat, and it improves when the patient sits up. And if you are a NEET aspirant, you obviously need to solve some MCQ questions for your preparation. And for that, the question here is, which hormone or marker is elevated in heart failure? We studied its BNP, which is brain natriuretic peptide or protein. And if you log on to the app by MediStudy Go, you're going to see such answers along with explanations wherever necessary. I'm sure that's going to be a very useful resource for your preparation. The app I'm talking about is this one by MediStudy Go, available on iOS as well as Android. And if you are someone who likes to study via videos and wants to compile every topic in under 15-20 minutes, you must subscribe to our YouTube channel MediStudy Go and like this present video. Also drop down any comments you have for the doubts related to the topic as well as related to our apps and the books. And we'll be happy to reach out to you. Thank you for watching.